Hello, and welcome to the History Inquirer. Today's episode will focus on the Swamp Fox during the Revolutionary War in the South from 1780 to 1781, which was when he was the most active. The question I'm sure you all have is who he was and why we should care. I'm glad you asked. So sit back, relax, grab a snack and a drink if you want, and let's get started. As some of you have already guessed, the Swamp Fox is none other than Francis Marion, the guerrilla fighter. Fun fact, Mel Gibson's character in the film The Patriots is based off of him. Now, Francis Marion was born in 1732 in Winona, South Carolina. He served during the French and Indian War, fighting the Cherokee, and was elected to the South Carolina Provincial Congress afterwards. In 1775, he became an officer in the South Carolina militia under General Moultrie and fought during the Battle of Sullivan's Island and the Siege of Savannah. It was following the surrender of Charleston to the British that his legend as the Swamp Fox began as he conducted a campaign of guerrilla warfare against the British, raiding and plundering supplies and hitting the British when and where he could. As for his men, they were volunteers who were unpaid and did not receive supplies, food, weapons, ammunition, clothing, blankets, etc. from the Continental Congress or the states. They had to provide for themselves. They carried weapons that they either personally owned or captured from the British, such as hunting rifles. This would be American long rifles, Kentucky or Pennsylvania. Shotguns, such as fowling pieces or blunderbusses, swords, sabers, etc. They relied on local blacksmiths, craftsmen, and friendly folks to support them, in addition to what they could forage or capture from the enemy. Food was foraged off the land, though they mostly ate sweet potatoes, cornmeal, hominy, and meat from animals they could find, hunt, and kill. As for ammunition, they supposedly favored number 2 goose shot, which was ideal for hunting geese, believe it or not, but also useful for attacking human targets as well. And the shot that they used was denser and heavier than the modern version. This is iron as opposed to steel. The effective range was between 20 and 30 yards. And when General Horatio Gates became the head of the Southern Department, Marion and his men attached themselves to Gates' army until they were sent away to destroy boats on the Santee River. Before linking up Gates with this, they would serve under General DeKalb for a time in North Carolina. Yeah, but anyways, because they were sent away from Gates' army, they were not present at the Battle of Camden. On August 24, 1780, he learned, Francis Marion, he learned that the American prisoners that were captured during the Battle of Camden were being taken to Charleston, and he moved to intercept one of the groups. They attacked British forces guarding the prisoners at night, taking them by surprise. They attacked so quickly, in fact, that the British were prevented from getting to their weapons. 2 British regulars were killed, 5 were wounded, and 20 were taken prisoner, with only 1 American wounded. On September 4th, Marion attacked the Loyalist foraging party ahead of the main camp at dawn. Only 15 Loyalists survived out of 45. On September 15th, he attacked a force of 200 Loyalists, faked a retreat, and lured them into a swamp where they were defeated. On September 28th, Marion's men would fight the Battle of Black Mingo Creek. With his enemy being camped in a swamp, once again, another swamp, Go figure. I mean, he is a swamp fox after all. Okay, and his army is camped in a swamp northwest of Georgetown. The enemy was around 50 loyalists under Colonel John Cumming Ball. While Marion wanted to attack at midnight and surprise them, his horses made noise clomping over a wooden bridge, clomp, 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 and which alerted the British. Nevertheless, Marion's forces prevailed by using their cavalry to come around the flank and hit the enemy in the rear, sending the British loyalists fleeing into the swamp. Among the property captured from the loyalists was a very handsome, well-bred horse that Marion would take for his own and use during the rest of the war. On October 24th, Colonel Francis Marion was intent on pursuing British Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Tynes, who was recruiting a force of loyalist militia to go after the rebels. And of course, Marion wanted to put a stop to this. He learned that Tynes was located in Tiercoat Swamp, another swamp, and moved to attack him. After dark, Marion crossed the PD River and marched his men down to the Loyalist camp, which was situated between the swamp and the Black River. After midnight, Marion divided his forces into three and attacked the unsuspecting Loyalists from all sides, instilling panic and fear into the enemy militia. Not a single man was lost on Marion's side. However, 6 Loyalists were killed and 14 were wounded. They also captured supplies and horses. Some of the Loyalist militia later defected to the rebels, to Marion's men, giving rise to the men calling the battle or skirmish Turncoat Swamp. Yes. After the Battle of Kings Mountain, General Cornwallis would send Bannister Tarleton after Marion to hunt him down. After all, Marion was a regular thorn in the side of the British, and Cornwallis wanted to put a stop to him. Now, this would result in what we know as the Battle of Ox Swamp, which was not much of a battle, but it did give rise to Marion's nickname. He helped to cement it. And this would happen on November 8th, 1780. Marion and his men led Tarleton on a merry chase on a long, winding route that took them into Ox Swamp, which was almost impassable. Tarleton's forces were exhausted. Their horses were exhausted. They were dropping like flies. Literally. For 7 days, 7 hours, they pursued Marion until they finally decided they had had enough. Especially since they're losing men and horses. They're also carrying cannon with them too. So, in Tarleton's words, he would say, as for this damned old fox, the devil himself could not catch him. It was this incident that would earn Marion the nickname, the Swamp Fox, due to his cunning and elusiveness, his evasive tactics. Marion's main camp was at Snow's Island, which was a patch of high ground in the middle of a swamp on the PD River near Johnsonville, South Carolina, 100 miles north of Charlestown. Snow's Island's dimensions were never stable, and it has long since disappeared. Snow's Island was an ideal hideout for Marion and his men. What made it an ideal hideout was that it could only be reached by water. While this seems to be his main camp, Marion had other camps nearby that he could move his men around to and stay on the move. He never wanted to stay in one place for too long. because that could lead to his being cornered and captured or killed. But anyways, this would give rise to his becoming kind of an American Robin Hood, with Snow's Island becoming a American Sherwood Forest, and the plunder being taken from the British and American loyalists given to patriot families. Now, in 1781, a small force of loyalists under Lieutenant Colonel John Doyle would attack Marion's camp at Snow's Island, and in so doing, they would burn the farmhouse and the outbuildings and threw supplies into the river, burn the houses of Marion's men, but they were not able to kill or capture Marion and his men because they were not present there at the battle at the time. So while Marion's men were with him were not killed or captured, he did lose men there. He had stationed men at his camp to defend it, and so he did lose men and, of course, the supplies. Nevertheless, the loss of supplies and men weakened morale and limited Marion's ability to harass the British. However, his men would avenge themselves on Doyle's men later on. Marion would continue his guerrilla tactics and link up with Light Horse Harry Lee to capture British forts such as Watson, to disrupt British supply lines and weaken British control over South Carolina. As the Battle of Utah Springs in 1781, he would serve as Brigadier General under General Nathanael Greene, which would be the last major battle in South Carolina of the Revolutionary War. But that is a story for another time. Tarleton, after failing to kill or capture Francis Marion, decided to go after Thomas Sumter, the Gamecock, instead. But who was Thomas Sumter? And why was he called the Gamecock? That will be a topic for my next video. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time on the History Inquirer. Thank you.